Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you this question. How hungry are you? And I'm not talking about going and getting some food. I'm talking about your desire for learning and growth. Several centuries ago, a young man came to Socrates, the wise old Socrates. And he said, Socrates, I want to know everything that you know. Well, Socrates responded and said, if this is your desire, follow me on down to the river. And so both of them headed off to the river, and Socrates asked a young man to look into the river and tell him what he sees. And the young man said, I don't see anything. And Socrates said, look closer, just look closer. And as that young man peered over the bank and leaned into the water, Socrates grabbed him by the head, shoved it underneath the water. And the guy's flailing and really struggling. And right before the guy's about ready to drown, Socrates pulls him back out of the water and puts him up onto the ledge of the bank. Coughing, the guy says, man, are you crazy? You're trying to kill me or what? And Socrates responded and said, when I was holding you underneath the water, what is it that you wanted more than anything else? And he replied and said, I just wanted to breathe. I wanted air. To which Socrates responded and said, don't ever make the mistake of thinking that learning comes easily. When you want to learn as much as you just wanted air, come back and talk to me. Then we can share everything that I know. I think that's complete wisdom. It takes desire and hard work and determination for us to learn and grow, but we've got to do it. John Maxwell says you cannot be the same, think the same, and act the same if you hope to be successful in a world that does not remain the same. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our charge to learn and grow. If we're not leading the charge, if we're not developing ourselves and growing and learning and becoming better each and every single day, we're going to get passed up. We're not going to be the people of influence that I know each and every one of you here watching this wants to be. So what can we do? How can we get better? Well, there's a number of different ways to be able to do this. One could be just as simple as reading a book. Les Brown, one of my heroes, he's a motivational speaker. He says this. He says that if you just choose one book a month on a certain subject and read that book, and then the next book you read another book, the next month you read another book on the same subject, and the next month and the next month. That is, you read one book per month on the same subject for 5 years, you will become the top 5% experts in the entire world. Think on that just for a minute. If I want to be a leadership expert, all I got to do is one book per month, 5 years, boom, I can become a leadership expert. Perhaps you want to become an expert in sales or customer service or in the lean manufacturing process or whatever it is. I don't know what it is. But what do you want to become an expert in? Simply pick up a book and start reading that. That's one simple strategy. If we don't, we just become average. I'm referring to a lot of old things today, but the Tartar tribes of Central Asia used to have a curse that they'd yell this out to their enemies. And they would say, may you stay in one place forever. That was their biggest curse they could think of. May you stay in one place forever. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not stay in one place forever. Let's learn and grow. So we can do so by reading. Secondly, we can do so just by asking questions, being curious, looking around the world and wondering about stuff, and then doing the research to answer our questions. Questions like, how can I get better at my job? Ask yourself that. Ask Google that. Ask your manager that. Ask your coworkers that. Ask your spouse or significant other that question. What's going on in the market? What personal skills do I need to be able to develop to connect more with people? How can I retain clients? How can I best serve my staff? How can I have more patience? How can I hold somebody accountable? How can I have the hard conversation? There are lots of things that we can be asking about, lots of things we can be curious about, and lots of things that we can be able to learn. One person who a lot of people might consider a modern day genius has kind of figured out this asking question. He's been super curious for years and years and years, and his curiosity has resulted in some very great things. This man's name is Elon Musk. You might know him from Tesla or from SpaceX or the many other adventures he gets involved in, and he's just full of questions. He asks, how can we be able to send a spaceship up into the space and have it return and reuse parts of that spaceship? And he's figured that out. He wonders, how can we settle Mars by 2024? How can we use solar energy to power every single home in the United States of America? How can we be able to save the environment by driving electric cars? How can we be able to implant chips into our brains to be able to help with brain diseases? How can we be able to travel on magnets at speeds that are completely unheard of? There are so many questions he's continuing to ask, and because of his curiosity, he's been extremely successful. And like I said, some people consider him a modern day genius. So what are you wondering? What are you curious about? What kind of questions do you need to be asking yourself and others to help drive this desire to learn? Again, if we're going to make a difference in this world, we have to be hungry. We have to be like that young man whose head is getting shoved underneath the water, struggling for air, just thinking that there's only one thing we want, and that one thing that we want is growth and development. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you the best of success in this journey of life. I hope that you do take seriously this call, this challenge, to be able to learn more, develop yourself, and grow yourself. Be uncommon in your willingness and your actions of personal growth. Thank you.